as we continue this week without Peter, we're going to talk about one of his favorite topics, which is online advertising and how poor Google and Meta are facing new competition. Today's Not So Critical update. The gist of the story is Google and Meta, who have for very long been the two 500-pound gorillas in the room of online advertising, are now facing challenges for ad dollars from TikTok, Microsoft, Apple, and Amazon. And this is just so sad for those companies that are struggling to meet their earnings goals. The competition is getting tighter. I don't know what they're going to do. We should have a GoFundMe for Facebook.
A petition. More ads, more tracking, more tracking.
I know.
This feels like one of those non-articles where it's like the Economist thought, we gotta come up with something. We gotta talk about something. And they're like, ooh, what about this? And it's like, because it feels almost obvious. If you think about it, this feels super obvious. Like, we know that TikTok is encroaching on the biggest social medias. It has been now for the better part of 2-3 years. And it's starting to really take over the space. We know that Amazon has a monopoly on online shopping. And we also know that Microsoft has a monopoly on the professional network, the professional network side of things, where a few hundred mil, maybe even close to 1 billion professionals are on LinkedIn for a lot of their time, like free time. It's just so, and LinkedIn owned by Microsoft. It's interesting. I think it's interesting because it's fun to think about Google and Facebook losing. They're obviously not losing. They are still winners, and they are both of them holding their little trophies. But they're feeling like they're.
I just saw there was another headline that we didn't do about how Zuckerberg lost like 17 billion or something.
Oh, 17. I know there was a 7. I don't know if it was 7, 17, 7.
Yeah, one of those because they've failed to miss their earnings now 2 quarters in a row or something.
Yeah.
I think there is a catalyst to this story. But largely, you're right. LinkedIn has always been running ads. Bing, don't forget about Bing.
Bing.
Sleeper. Amazon, obviously, like you said, dominates online retail. As a marketer, even knowing that Bing was an option, and Twitter and Reddit and LinkedIn, I'd spend no money there because that's not where the ROI was. The ROI was with Facebook and Meta and Google. And I suspect that's still the case. As to the catalyst for the story, my guess is, yes, TikTok, it has been steadily increasing for the past 2 to 3 years, is really getting to be a major annoyance to Facebook, dominating Instagram. I think they're maybe still figuring out how to monetize or compete on advertising against Facebook and Google to the extent that they could, but they'll continue to get stronger. It's not really, I don't know if you're going to see a lot of business advertising there, and that's where most ad money comes from, but certainly a lot of direct to consumer stuff. But the big thing that changed, I think, was Apple and their increased focus. There were stories last week about Apple trying to get more into the ad game, especially now that they've totally edged out Facebook and Microsoft from their hardware. But they do have a ton of that targeting data, and they want to start using it for their own benefit more intensely.
Well, that's when you design the perfect ecosystem, and that's exactly what Apple's done. Is they have free reign to control who and what their users see in terms of ads. And wow, shit, there was one thing I wanted to bring up. Oh, regarding TikTok's encroachment. I saw a really funny post on r sysadmin on Reddit where this manager or lead was talking about how one of their techs was looking up, they were troubleshooting GPOs, so group policies, and they went to TikTok and searched in TikTok the keywords instead of like Google, for example, which is so interesting to think that this is now going to become a potential resource for troubleshooting or education or whatever, how-tos, etc. Similar to YouTube, which is something that you very often do as a troubleshooting or even technical person, is you will look for videos on how something works, and you'll obviously Google for it, or you'll look at a Reddit thread of, you'll add Reddit at the end. Now they're starting to look at TikTok for one of their platforms.
Obviously, for like programming or clearly technical issues, Stack Overflow is the go-to resource. But more and more, anything tutorial based, how do I whatever, whether it's at work, whether it's at home, right, a washing machine or a database server, very, very often YouTube is my first stop to search for that. And I probably wouldn't have said TikTok, but I've actually started seeing a couple people on TikTok who do I came across one that does like Excel tutorials, and he shared a way to work with finding duplicates in dynamic ranges and then counting them. And I just it's not a tip I'd ever heard before. It was super interesting. I could see subscribing to a guy like that or using that channel as a resource for technical questions. So I can see that.
Yeah, it's just, and same thing with YouTube, right? When YouTube came out, we didn't think like this will be the number one resource for visual troubleshooting or learning or whatever. It totally is. That's exactly what it is. Sure, we see a lot of good stuff on YouTube in terms of memes and videos and trailers and whatever the fuck, but it's also the single biggest place or repo for knowledge sharing visually. Like you said, your washing machine broke. Well, you need to kind of see what the person's talking about. You're changing a part in your car. You need to see these things. You can't just follow the instructions because you don't maybe know what everything is called. So,
but even programming tutorials, something you could easily read a blog about, but watching a YouTube video is pretty valuable.
Yeah,
I enjoy the experience. I learn a lot from it. It's very informative and technical. Pretty attractive platform overall. I spend a lot of time on YouTube these days. YouTube and Reddit probably are my by far two most dominant web properties that I spend time on.
Yeah, I'd say pretty much same exact thing. In terms of, and Discord, I would say I spend majority of my time also on Discord. Free.
I guess I put Discord in a different category because it's just I think of it as a messaging app, but I can see the argument.
Yeah.
I don't subscribe to a lot of servers that aren't that are just like public servers like ours. Anybody who's watching should join our Discord server. There's a link in the description. A lot of fun. We're having good conversations over there as the audience grows a little bit. It's going pretty well. Where are we now in terms of audience? I think we're like 270, 275.
What? On
our
YouTube?
Audience size? Yeah.
Yeah, right around there. 260,
263. 263. Yeah. So help us out. Click the like button. Subscribe to the show. Join us on Discord. We're going places.